Welcome to round one of the final Refrain Archon best of 3 32 elimination bracket. Today we will have the second game of the whole tournament and it will be Grishhammer versus Easy Galina. We'll do a little bit of a match preview, look at the decks, pull up a little bit of the predictions that we have in the Discord, and see what we think will happen in this matchup. So let's look at the bracket first. Um, Grishhammer and Easy Galina, and on the top right of the bracket, together with Holy Stew, Willy, Ewok, Astron, Cat Marrow, and Unfathomable. Um, the exact location is over here, and the winner will potentially be battling it out against Holy Stew or Willy. So Grishhammer, he came into this tournament because of his achievement of being the US National Archon Champion, with apparently swarming Mordecai as his deck. And I've mentioned this before. Every time I search something for GR related stuff on DOK, I end up finding Mordecai. And on the other side, we have Easy Galina, Italy Vault Tour Archon Champion, and Archon World 2024 Top 8. And his deck was Geared Song, which he won the Italy Vault Tour with, I believe. And the deck that he will be bringing, I think he made Archon World 2024 Top 8 with. So let's just look at the two decks real quick, stats-wise. We have Garorado Fountain General for Grishhammer and Funny Goldtooth for Easy Galena. Amber Skies versus Tokens of Change. They're not in the majority. The majority of decks is Grim Reminders, so it's a little bit of a change of the normal games. Where Garorado mainly has a very interesting corner of the market enhanced with the Geistoid card, and Funny Goldtooth relies on the Katina Fiends quite a bit. You see the contender accolade here, so he did play it in the Archon Worlds top 8. SAS-wise, Katina Fiends are overrated in my opinion, so it's very inflated. It's 129 SAS, which is crazy. Just a couple sets ago, 80 SAS was considered to be really good, and now we're in the low hundreds, 129 versus 92 SAS. Amber Control also is rated very highly for the Cantina Fiends, and I would imagine the Levy of Souls in here. A lot less Amber Control on Colorado, but then again, I think that deck plans on locking you out for a big part of the game instead of controlling your Amber. Expected Amber high on both sides. Not a lot of artifact control on both of these decks. We'll look at the cards a bit more in detail after. Luckily for Garorado, the creature control seems to be okay, not amazing, because you want to deal with those Katina Fiends, because if you don't, you're going to have a bad time, especially with the Levy of Souls that will stick on the board and cannot actually be removed because there's only Skippy, so you can kind of disable it for a turn, but it stays there. Now, for Grishhammer, the whole deck list with the stats. So again, if we look at Equidon, the thing that pops out right away is the corner the market with the Geistoid enhanced, which pretty much with 2 inner somewheres you can perpetually loop the corner the market, which then pretty much seals the game for you if there's no board. So is there any way to get rid of the board on the Geistoid turn as well? I don't think so. You can build your own board and clear it with that, but Katina Fiends are 6 power. It's gonna be tricky. That will be tricky. There is the de-escalation, which you could then. Well, you still have one turn where you can come back and bring back the board online so to say. And then in any other notable cards in Ecuadon, Moonlight Special Reap the Wild Wind is interesting. It could be very disruptive. I believe it's. We'll look at all of the cards with the text on it, but I think it's discard one, purge one, and put one on top or something. Something strange that way. Then in the Geistoid, two in your somewheres, Junk Restoration, Manifestations, two of them. Um, Always useful to get a discard pip. Oh, that's interesting. So there is maybe a way to. Um, so usually when you have a corner of the market inner somewhere loop and you don't have discard pips, you're kind of not cycling. Uh, you might not be cycling through your cards at one point in time, but with the manifestation, potentially you can. So that's an interesting. Uh, Two of them being very interesting in Geistoid. Then there's some creatures which well, they're just there. And in logos, we got Help from Future Self. We got Articulated Ren, two of them, some speed in there. Two Skippies, Connectome Transfer, potentially playing three times the Time Traveler. It looks to be a very efficient logos. Um, yeah, but of course, the main feature of this deck is the corner of the market, Geistoid Enhanced. And then we go to Easy Galina, the Katina Fiend, and right away in this, there's one, two, three Havocs, Gate Warden, um, which in this matchup might not be that relevant, um, but the Levy of Souls definitely is, and the Essence Scale. So usually corner of the market is pretty bad news, but for a Katina Fiend, yeah, if you have the board, it's not that bad, because sometimes you just call this 3 or 4 times, and that's what it is. The Amasser, if you cannot deal with it turn one, it's really, really, really trouble. Really big trouble if you can't handle it. There's a lot of ways for Easy Clean also to recur. Um, the important creatures with the Archimedes, three of them, the practical methods, some discard pips, eddies. Very nice, very nice. And then some steel in shadows. Safe house, long fuse mines, Merkins. That can be interesting. Yeah. And yeah, let's have a little bit more of a look at the cards in each deck. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's start with Funny Gold Tooth. Right, so there we are. We have this with Anguish being able to tag some keys. Levy of Souls going to be a crucial card, I think, in this matchup because there's really no way for Grishhammer to get rid of it. Then the three Havocs, which make token creatures. The Cinders to protect your Amasser and your Gate Warden. Um, Very solid this. Makes a lot of tokens with Katina Fiends, that's what you want. Moving on to the logos, we mentioned the three Archimedes. So if you have a token on the board and it's really something you would like to have in your hand, really, you can put the Archimedes down, use practical methods to make a token creature and destroy a friendly creature, and then archive it instead. Hypothesize, also very nice. There's a lot of token makers in here as well, actually. This is pumping out tokens left and right in each house. And in the shadows, early birds haven't seen that card. Ready Eat Shadows card. Does that do anything with Alpha? What? Alpha Ready Eat Shadows card. Huh? That maybe someone can explain to me why this is why this is a relevant card. And the Merkins is interesting. So there's a general some nice steel. The rich score can actually hit big. If we go back to Gyrorado, there's the corner of the market. There's not the enhancers aren't on here, um, but it's definitely there. Moonlight Special, discard a random card from your hand if you do gain one. And here is Reap the Wild Wind. It's not the card I was thinking of. It's each player reveals a random card from their hand and gains an amber for each bonus icon. So really, this is the corner of the market is the star of this pod. Um, then going to Geistoid, Solid, two in there somewhere is Junk Restoration. Manifestations could be pretty interesting um, because of the discard pibs. Yeah, yeah. I forgot to mention that there's a delay on the stream, so I will see the chat, but I might not be able to respond to it right away. Early Birds was printed in DT, relevant? Can't say it is now. Is a strange card. Yeah, versus Unfathomable, maybe if you get, yeah. I just I don't see it. So there's some other creatures here, right? So destroy game one cards. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they're no match for the Katina Fiends. Then there's the Connectome, Help from Future Self, the Time Traveler. Again, potentially you can play your Time Traveler 3 times. Quite some speed in the logos. Um, yeah. When I look at this matchup, I think I would honestly prefer the Katina Fiend um, deck because yeah, the corner of the market is really terrifying. Um, but you don't really care if you have your board set up. Um, yeah, I think yeah, I would definitely prefer that one. Meanwhile, I'm trying to communicate with the players to see if their game is ready and what's going on. And let me try to see what the predictions are about this game. I have not looked, but my feeling is that people will tend to agree that Easy Galina might be favorite here. And with 11 votes for Grishhammer and 42 for Easy Galina, yeah, the people seem to agree, and they're never wrong, right? But they know their decks way better than we do. Um, so yeah, but now we just have to wait a little bit for the game to pop up. The key cards to me seem to be can you find the Amasser quick and the Levy of Souls. If you can find those two quick for Funny Goldtooth, then I think it's bad news for Grishhammer. True, most people do vote for players, correct. Um, so they vote for names instead of decks. I don't know what you guys think in the chat, but again, if you can find the Amasser and Levy of Souls, I think that would be bad news for Grishhammer. And on Grishhammer, you just want to be as efficient, get to your lockout as soon as possible, preferably before Levy of Souls comes down, because then you could just lock your opponent out completely. I have tried a similar lockout with in Alliance, and I must say it looks very easy. It's definitely not that easy to set up, and even when you have it, it's a bit fragile. Um, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm also again communicating with the player, so if I'm a little bit sound absent, that's why. So I want to make sure that we all start at the same time, uh, and that I set everything up correctly. So they'll be making the game shortly. Historically, voting has never gone wrong, I think. Oh, really? Oh boy. Okay. Right. Spectating. I think I would have to flip the names. We can transition already. So I'm just waiting for both players to join the game. Name 1, name 2. Might be that I have to flip the names again. Anyway, but we'll see. We will see. So Easy Galina is no name Galina here. I don't know Grishhammer's TCO name, but I'm assuming it's just Grishhammer. So they're having some trouble joining the game here, but it's all good. It's all good. We have like 2 very early games and the rest like Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah. Right, so Grishhammer's also in the game. That's exciting. I feel a bit nervous in their place, honestly. Okay, there we go. So, Grishhammer won the flip and is the first player. Does that matter? Is that relevant? I don't know. I'm not that into the matchup. So here you see the Katina Fiend. After fight, steal 1, deal 3. Grishhammer does not mulligan, it seems. And Easy Galina also does not mulligan. So they must both be happy with their draw. Grishhammer takes the first turn. He goes into logos, probably hoping for some efficiency, maybe articulated Ren or Skippy to archive the top card and a discard pip. So actually getting rid of 2 cards, playing 1 card, discarding 1, archiving another one. I think he'll be happy with that as a first turn. And he discards the manifestation. So Easy Galina goes into Shadows. We see our early birds card, enhanced with a damage pip and a discard. Plays Shoulder It as a bit of a protection for potentially some the Amasser, Gate Warden next turn. Grishhammer goes back into logos, can reap with the Skippy to archive another card. Has help from future self, so the time traveler comes down turn 2. You must be quite happy with that. So you draw 2 cards. The manifestation goes back into his deck as well. Plays another Skippy. So we'll have 3 cards in his archives by the end of this turn. Already on 4 Ember. A very fortunate start. Yeah. Goes back into Shadows. Easy Galina plays down the safe house, where he can potentially get back his tokenized cards that he would rather have had in hands. Uses the Gamgee to pip to destroy the mouse. Really not what you want to see, actually. You want to start flying with this, create those Katina Fiends fast. Not an ideal start, I think, on Easy Galina's side, whereas Grishhammer is way more progressing to his win condition, I would think. Goes back into logos again, so 3 logos calls. Again, here you just keep building the archive. Those skippies are a big problem. Big problem. 5 cards in the archive. Going to check at 7. Galina has to go into this at one point because otherwise it's okay. So he does go into this. Now he needs to put down the tokens. Okay, so comes the Gate Warden. At least prevents the skippies from activating 1 more turn. Cinder to protect a bit more the Gate Warden. Anguish damaging himself to tax at least 1 Ember because it costs 1 more for each damage on Anguish. So there's quite a board now. With 5 cards in your archive, maybe the de-escalation is a good time for Grishhammer now to kind of say, well, sure, you can have 3 cards in your archive. I've got 5 already. Or maybe he can, set up another big turn. Still 20 cards left in the draw. Yeah. Yeah, not playing cards is weird maybe on what you're saying, Riku. but maybe you're just happy to get your first key and stack your archives. Um, he's now taking a moment to think. If he goes back into logos, he cannot reap again because that gate warden is there. Um, so you cannot start building your archives. I would imagine you want to handle the board somehow. Um, the biggest way to handle the board is maybe through multiple contract executions and creatures or the de-escalation. Yeah, I think he would need them soon. He needs to handle the board now. So even though the start for Easy Galina was not very favorable, now there's a big board. If he cannot answer, then yes, you're a key ahead. But so obviously he takes his time to think through. This might be a pivotal moment. I wonder what he has in his hand or archive. If it is one of those challenges that I described, maybe it's Connectome. Okay, so he does go into Ecodon. Does he pick up his archive? It looks like he's still thinking to either pick up his archive or not. Plays Corner the Market, so cannot play any cards next turn. Discards Skipper Huko. Discards Vested Herald, so he can archive a friendly creature and an enemy creature. You want to archive the Time Traveler. I would think you might want to get rid of the Taunt, the Cinder. Um, didn't pick up his archives though. So, okay, so the de-escalation is there, right? So I was hoping for him that he had it. He had to answer it. You are giving your opponent 3 cards in the archive, but you're at 6. You might be close to your corner of the market lockout, maybe for next turn. So you're giving him 2 more turns to answer. If he can archive with the Geistoid in there somewhere, he's not haunted yet. But at least this turn, Easy Galina cannot do anything, and it's just building up his archive, and it seems to be filled with the logos cards. So Grishhammer hopefully goes into Geistoid, gets haunted, sets up the corner of the market lockout, and must hope that Easy Galina cannot build a big board. It's got 12 cards in his hand, so there's definitely the potential to get haunted and to start using those in here somewheres if he has them. Um, you want to build up a board to handle those Katina Fiends because there is this one turn where Easy Galina can answer. And if he cannot answer, then it might be GG. But let's see. Let's see if he even has the combo. So strong feeling to ready the Tribute Collector and reap again. Looks like these 3 creatures are what it is. Place the inner somewhere and archives 2 cards, de-escalation and corner the market. So yeah, you better build a big board now, Easy Galina. Because just wiping it and not building in your own board, you're going to be locked out potentially for the rest of the game. It is best of 3, indeed. So there's nothing lost just yet if you lose the first game. But you obviously you want to start on a high note and win the first one. So now it's Easy Galina's time to have a good thought. He's probably thinking like, okay, I see the corner of the market in the archive. I have seen one in there somewhere. The question is the second in there somewhere there as well? There's still 15 cards in the draw, right? But Grishhammer is playing like he does have, the second in here somewhere. Although de-escalation and corner of the market, so that's not 2 Geistoid cards, or yeah. Oh, Merkins. Oh, totally missed that one. Choose a random card in your opponent's archives. Wow. That could have been huge. So he hits a de-escalation instead of the corner of the market. Oh my goodness. Whoa, totally missed that. That was a high risk, high reward kind of play. Um, Fortunately, you do get rid of the board, so there might not be too much potential to generate amber afterwards. But hitting the de-escalation was good and bad. It was bad in the sense that now the archives is stacked and he's even closer to getting the two inner somewheres loop. On the bright side, you do have a bit of a board to maybe answer if you cannot play any cards again. But if you hit the corner of the market there, wow, it's a 50-50. Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good call. I think if you do hit the corner of the market, it's big. It's very big. So Grishhammer needs to think again. There are not easy choices here. There's no easy choices. So the corner of the market is still in there. 3 extra random cards. Um, Potentially some Equidon cards in hand, maybe, because he was archiving de-escalation and corner of the market. Um, yeah, definitely for next game, Grishhammer is now aware of the Merkins. If he wasn't already, probably he was because he did his research better than me. That the the Merkins can actually wreck your game plan. Um, totally a key card that I missed. Yeah. Yeah, truly. If he hit corner of the market, Grishhammer can just choose Geistoid and reap 3 times. That's true. Um, but now the potential is still there to, lock out. He would have to dig again. So corner of the market comes back in, plays manifestation. Um, I wonder which bonus icons you want to choose here. There's just Ember Pips and a Capture Pip. Oh, oh, the opponent's card. So 2 Ember Pips, a damage pip, and a discard. Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. So the other inner somewhere is there. So now you go inner somewhere, corner the market. You know you can kind of out tempo your opponent probably. Um, you're going to forge this key for sure. Then you just need one more time to get the 6 Ember, which he can definitely get to 4, and then needs to find 2 more Embers somewhere. But he can just do it like 2 times. Yeah, this looks to be probably game 1 going to Grishhammer. Um, yeah, unfortunate draw for easy Galina, I would say. Um, yeah, so goes corner the market again, in there somewhere, rinse and repeat. Um, he concedes. Yeah, that seems to be game number 1 for easy Galina. And they're pausing for me to copy and paste the logs, which I'm very grateful for. Yes, give me 2 minutes. Unfortunate draw there for easy Galina, I think. And very, very fast start by Grishhammer. Will game 2 be the same? We don't know. Quickly saving the log file. So I'm just calling this final refrain. Easy Grish game 1. So we got that saved. Let me update the statistics. Score on the top. Game 1. So far we have 0 game and without conceding. Yeah. We talked. We aligned with I aligned with Dinobot to give him some extra sleep. So ready. Game 2. Yeah. I still think the Katina Fiend deck has a fair shot if the right cards show up, and if he doesn't have like this awesome start, Grishhammer again. So now it's easy Galina's time to start. He's got 7 cards in hand. Don't think he chooses to mulligan. Grishhammer also doesn't seem to mulligan, so they might be happy or happy enough with whatever they drew. So it goes into this turn one. That's already a lot better than going into shadows. Puts down Havoc with a Katina Fiend. So I think that's a decent turn one. Yeah, he needs to build board quickly, uh, uh, dominate there, and then the Levy of Souls would be quite important. Comes down with Articulated Ren and the Placeholder to do 2 damage spread out. A little bit of speed with the Articulated Ren. Chooses to exhaust it and draw an extra card. Easy Galina goes back into this. The Levy of Souls does come down. This is a completely different game already. Essence skill as well. Another Havoc. Now this is what you're looking for, being Easy Galina. The Katina Fiend will probably kill itself if it chooses to fight, so it doesn't. Um, and the Anguish just does a damage pip on the Articulated Ren. 5 Amber. Um, so if you corner the market here, you just don't care. You just go back into this and you just whack that Articulated Ren, probably with the Anguish, start reaping, make extra tokens. This is a challenging situation here for sure. So Grishhammer turn 2 goes into Geistoid, plays a Thought Catcher. Seems to be just some creatures here. That's not what you want. Captures 1 Ember. The problem is that these are all smaller bodies than the Katina Fiends. Um, the strong feeling with the manifestation capture and the tribute capture, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, Easy Galina's impressed as well. So what is he going to do? Yeah, you have to take down that board. So he's afraid of the board. He needs to clean it up. Um, captures the Ember on the Articulated Ren. Thought Catcher will probably kill one Katina Fiend. Okay, so he fights the Havoc. All right. And that's the end of the turn. Pretty good turn, especially the strong feeling. Chooses the Thought Catcher to be exhausted for the Articulated Ren, so probably not going back into Geistoid. Easy Galena just goes back into this. Obviously, um, very obvious. I think you want to damage the Cinder, the Anguish here. You want to try and steal as much as possible, create more tokens, and just profit. You might want to get rid of the Articulated Ren as well to kind of slow down Grishhammer. Um, if you can get to check, that would have been even better, but I don't think there was any way. So gets rid of the board. Knows there is no, at least last turn there was no better board wipe probably. Starts using the Levy of Souls to put down more Katina Fiends. 4 creatures on the board. Grishhammer's turn to answer this. And the only good answers are in Aquadon for this board with the contract executions and the de-escalation. So let's see if he has it. He does go into Aquadon. So maybe he has a way to get rid of the creatures. They're damaged, so the contract executions could actually do some work. Starts with Reap the Wild Wind to reveal a random card. Reveals In There Somewhere and Archimedes. So In There Somewhere is in the hands of Grishhammer. That's some nice piece of information. Plays the distributor Janute with a draw and a capture, digging through his archives. Hoist operations with a discard. Maybe the Anguish? Meh, who knows? Okay, so he chooses his own for efficiency. That's also a very good option, I would say, with the draw pip on there and the capture pip. Discarding Quantum Mouse as well and de-escalation. So all in all, a pretty solid turn. Hoping Galina doesn't start building a big board again, because now you know the big board wipe is gone. So you have to now put down a big board again. And in shadows, um, there are some cards that generate tokens. Merkins to, yeah, get the draw pip. Oh, there's another drop. It's even from the top of the deck. Interesting. Long fused mines, safe house to maybe take back the Merkins again. It's also interesting with this archiving. Uh, puts down a dodger with a discard pip, creates another token with cover operations, and the board is there again. Even though he's one key behind, I think it's still looking good for easy Galina. Grishhammer uses junk restoration to dig through his deck. Placeholder, root access, and contract execution. Which one is the one you want? You cannot play any cards of these on this turn, but maybe, yeah, right. Place corner the market, so you cannot play any cards. I'm assuming you just try to push. You try to push. Maybe you go this to start building your board a bit more. Place in there somewhere to archive corner the market and de-escalation. So EasyGlina does know that corner the market and de-escalation are in the archives. If it comes down to the Amber Rush game now, EasyGlina can definitely win it, I guess, with Levy of Souls. But the final corner of the market turn, you can go into Aquadon and wipe the board with de-escalation to not have the taxing. So Easy Galina does go into this. Starts building more tokens with Levy of Souls. Probably uses Essence skill to gain at least some Ember. Yeah, maybe Grishhammer did the math already, and he thinks he can outpace the Dis versus the Geistoid on the market loop. But there will be more and more Ember that Easy Galina can generate each turn. So now Grishhammer is thinking probably the same thing. Can I just keep looping and win? I don't think you can. I don't think you can. Because next turn your keys will cost 9 because of the 3 Katina Fiends. And yeah, so he picks up his archive, probably thinks, okay, I need to get rid of the board. De-escalation, corner the market, takes another briefer turn. Yeah, so just maybe every other turn you take like a break. Right, yeah, that's also what Riku is saying now. Yeah, yeah, draw pip, capture pip, transparency report, getting to check. Oof. What do you do now? Do you just try to buy another turn here by using the Levy of Souls? Knowing next turn you can play cards again? And maybe take Grishhammer off check one more turn? And no name Galina, easy Galina goes into this, uses the Levy of Souls to delay at least one more turn. No discards in hand, I would assume, otherwise it would probably have discarded them to archive and Grishhammer's turn again. So it doesn't forge because of the Levy of Souls over here. But interesting. Probably no Aquadon cards. Maybe you want Geistoid to go in here somewhere on corner of the market, in here somewhere, and just start generating Ember bit by bit again. So he does play in there somewhere. He in there somewhere is the de-escalation in corner of the market. So now both in there somewheres are in a discard pile. So there's one more turn where Easy Galina will not be able to do anything. He can definitely stop Grishhammer from forging one more turn, but goes into logos. What does he have in logos? He's got quite some. Okay, he's got eddies, Archimedes, practical methods, quite some archiving and efficiency in there. Plays cognitive assumptions for Amber and makes 3 token creatures, so spams the board again, and still has practical methods, the Artificer and Archimedes in hand. I think you want to kill the Thought Catcher with the practical methods. And here you can be a bit smart with the Archimedes placement with regards to what you might want to kill with the practical methods. Because you can destroy a friendly creature and enemy creature, and if it's next to the Archimedes, it comes back to your archives. So if there's really a card that you want here, you can put it into your archives, and he choose the left creature to play back into his archives. Plays down the Eddy with a draw. Archives another card. Titan Librarian, not on the flank yet. It is now, so it will archive another card. 5 cards in hand, 7 in the archive. Yeah. The de-escalation was archived, I believe. Can I cannot check the discard, sorry, to see what's tokenized. Sorry. Because he just shuffled them back in. But I believe the Corner of the Market and the de-escalation are in there, so probably you reap twice. Corner of the Market, de-escalation. Then you forge your second key and you're at 3 amber. Then what does Easy Galina do? One more turn of this Levy of Souls and trying to slam the board down again afterwards. So Grishhammer's going over his options. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Geistoid cards here. Okay, he goes into Equidon, picks up the archive. For sure, probably. Oh, he's fighting Archimedes. He does not want to. Oh, after fight, after reap, move 1. Okay, sure. It's the same effect as reaping, but a net bonus because you don't give the amber to your opponent. That's a smart move. I did not look at that. And the Archimedes is gone, so he doesn't archive even more cards. Corner of the Market comes down. De-escalation. Grishhammer is on check. Has 1 creature on the board, and Easy Galina cannot play any cards. You could tax for 1 here with the Levy of Souls, which is what he's doing, and also setting up a potential steal for next turn, and sifting through his hand for the discards, building up his archive a bit more with Anguish. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Grishhammer has kind of lost the loop now. So it's kind of like Easy Galina will be unchained for next turn after this one. So the Time Traveler comes down, draws 2 cards. He might shuffle this turn, try to look for the combo all over again. But a huge window of opportunity with 18 cards potentially in the hands of Easy Galina. Chooses to play the Skippy to use the discard pip and archive the top card of his deck. So will shuffle. Alternatively, you could have discarded it to prevent the Levy of Souls, but it's not so relevant now. Okay, he has a second Skippy, and he chooses to use the Essence Scale and oh boy, shuffle the Time Traveler action back into his deck, and he has help from Future Self. So another Amber, another 2 cards, more efficiency here. Already shuffled his deck, and again looking for the Corner of the Market to seal the deal later. So now Easy Galina has to put the gas down. He has to go big on the board, has to start dominating there and hope that the de-escalation hasn't made its way back into the hands of Grishhammer. 18 cards is a lot, though. 18 cards is a lot. I have not seen the Amasser in any of these games. Definitely a card you want to see. Havoc comes down. Does not have the ability to use the Essence skill this turn because of the discard of the second Skippy. Another Havoc comes down, making even more tokens. Cinder for some protection. Um, Probably also going over his options. So there's the Amasser, finally. So each time your opponent draws a card, make a token creature. The Gate Warden is also quite important because you cannot just reap to win in this instance. Goes very wide on the board. Anguish with the damage pip goes onto the Skipper Huko. You can always fight with this later. Steal one more card, one more Ember with the Katina Fiend. And if you do not have the de-escalation now, you're in big trouble. So, does Grishhammer have de-escalation or corner the market? Or both? I think you'd insta-pick Equidon if you do. So maybe he doesn't. Very interesting board state at the moment. uh, yeah, it all depends on how well you drew back into your key cards here. Because again, the only real way to get rid of this big board is de-escalation. Maybe there's a way where you can also get to check while doing that, but probably the potential for Easy Galina to build up a board again might still be there. So he does choose Equidon, moves all cards in the archives to their hand. He's got 8 cards. Plays Contract Execution to deal 2 damage each time a creature is played. You can get rid of the Gate Warden and the Master potentially if you have 2 creatures. That's worth something. Plays Reap the Wild Wind to reveal a card. Reveals Placeholder and Practical Methods. Does get to check. Really matters if there's de-escalation now. It goes to 7 Ember even. Still has a creature to use this turn. So plays Hoist Operation to archive the Gate Warden. Frees up the Skipper to reap. And he does so, captures 1 and exalt enemy flank creatures. Discards Vested Herald to archive 1 card of his own and archive, I would imagine, the Amasser of... okay, so he archives Anguish, also smart choice to not be taxed just by that, but even though if you don't get rid of the board, you're going to be taxed by a lot. And 2 creatures on the board allows Easy Galina to steal 2 Ember. I think Grishhammer is really hoping to draw into the de-escalation and corner the market here. Otherwise, it's just fight, reap, Levy of Souls, tax, and call this one more time after this. So fights the candle unit of the board. Deals the 3 damage to the Havoc. Probably gonna rule off 6 on his Katina Fiends here. Does not draw any cards, so will not make any tokens in the future. So you wanna save the Katina Fiends from taking any damage if you don't need to. Definitely don't forget to pop the the Levy of Souls here. Even though you do not create any tokens, you still tax or you increase the key cost for each Katina Fiend that is there. Makes a bazillion Ember. So reaping with the Cinder, you have to destroy one of your own creatures. Probably you're destroying the Havocs. Yes, Yeah, he does. Um, so a second reap and destroy the Amasser because the Amasser actually doesn't do anything here. Levy of Souls, he did not forget, so the key cost is way up there for Grishhammer. And again, the question is de-escalation in his hand or not? Odds are it's not, because there's still 19 cards left in the draw. Easy Galina is really putting the gas down now, using everything to generate as much amber as possible. So, Geistoid, so no de-escalation. Um, yeah. Um, what is there? Maybe some capture pips? Uh, I don't see how Grishhammer can pull this off. Ah, I saw a new follower. I just missed who it was, but thank you. So it does take his time. Um, not haunted yet. Nothing really in your discard that you want to see. Discards Thoughtcatcher, discards Colonel Slime, discards Summon Council. It does not want to give any opportunity to fight into his creatures and let his Ember be stolen. So just desperately hoping to find something here. But I don't think you can, because you're going to be... He's at 16 Ember. He will forge his second key. Yeah, this looks like it's going to game 3. Yeah. Does go to 11 Ember. So actually does have quite a burst, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Katina Fiends plus the 1 extra on the Anguish. Wow, that's actually way closer than I thought it would be. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 14 Ember cost. Wow. Is it actually just 1 Ember short? Wow. That's a lot closer than I thought it was. So Grishhammer does concede. Right now it's not winnable, but it came a lot closer than I thought he would be. Let me capture the game log. Save that. Saved the log onto game 3. So it's 1-1. This game a lot closer than the previous one. So I think it's randomly decided who goes first here. And it comes down to game number 3. I still think he should have gone for the inner somewhere corner market loop. It will be a racing game. Yeah. I think he may have done the calculations, and he may have come to the conclusion that he wasn't going to win that. And again, anyway, game 3 starts with Articulated Ren, not the Equidon Enhanced this time. Plays Merkins right away, so that threat is kind of gone, but gets the contract execution before Merkins comes down, which allows him to destroy the Articulated Ren. Has to do 2 damage to one of his own creatures now, though, right? Or not? Or is it just enemy creatures? Deal 2 to a creature. So he kills the Merkins, goes to the discard. Plays Slipshot. And how did he reap with that? How was that ready? Must have missed it. Yeah. Okay. Grishhammer goes into Geistoid, plays Junk Restoration, searching for his key cards. Takes a strong feeling back into his hand. We saw it do some work in game 2. I got the log. Don't worry. I got the log. Plays Portal Guardian down. Plays Colonel Slime. Just building a board to kind of counterbalance Easy Galina's board. Uses Manifestation to gain 2 Ember and a Capture Pip. Then with Strong Feeling, he can get rid of it and reap, going to 5 Ember on turn 2. Bitty Prick Burst potential as well. Turn 2 for Easy Galina. Going into this, That's what I want to see as being easy Galina. Already have two Katina Fiends down and the Amasser. It's 4 power. Um, you have to get rid of that Amasser. It is behind the shoulder id. So that could be already a big problem for Grishhammer if he doesn't manage to find either connect tone transfer or the placeholder or the de-escalation. Does go into Equidon, double contract execution or one contract execution could also do it. This has to go though. So place corner the market, hand de-escalation, giving 3 cards into the archive easy cleanup, but it had to be done honestly. If you leave the amasser on the board, that's bad news. So Easy Galina cannot play any cards. Grishhammer is on check. He will make that key. Depending on what you have in your archive, you want to add cards of the same house. So potentially there's logos in there. But the corner of the market in the discard with the 2 inners somewhere still either in hand or in the draw, you need to act fast on next turn. Because if there is an inner somewhere on next turn, and he probably then pulls back corner of the market and junk or something. Um, yeah, yeah. It's not the best start for Easy Galina, but again a great start for Grishhammer. Um, he's lamenting the draws already, so he discards Eddie and archives it because of corner of the market. So probably there are some logos cards in here. Archimedes joins the club. Grishhammer forges goes into logo, so no in there somewhere I would assume in his hand. Looking for the efficiency of the logos house. Help from future self, but it does shuffle. So your corner of the market is back in your deck, and you kind of have to work its way towards it again, or your discard pile. Does draw 2 cards, so really banking on the logo's efficiency here. Um, but you do shuffle your corner of the market back in. Um, it was just a matter of time to find the in there somewhere, indeed, to start looping. But maybe there's a way to get to check in this situation and already say, I'm already at my second key. You only have 1 ember. What are you gonna do? So kills his own time traveler with the placeholder again. Has to damage his skipper, unfortunately, but does get to check. And now it's Easy Galina's turn with potentially 10 cards. Goes into shadows. I doubt he'll pick up his archives because we know it's stacked with logos. Yeah. So has to put down some board. So he makes cover operation to make a token creature ready. It unfortunately cannot use it. Plays the long fused mines and instantly gets rid of it with Hawk. Can follow it up with a rich score to take Grishhammer off check and get to check himself, which is pretty important, and was able to put down a lurking hob. So has a little bit of a board, managed to escape an early second key from Grishhammer. Grishhammer comes back with Equidon, maybe also wiping the board again or digging. So distributor Ijanut captures 1, draws 1 card, trying to go through his deck. Is a target for Katina Fiends to fight against, though. Probably drew something interesting because he's thinking of his options now. Takes a long time to play the second card. So usually you have a game plan. You call the house, you play your cards, but because there's a draw pip here, you don't know what you're getting. So it must be a very interesting draw. What would be interesting? De-escalation might be an interesting find here. The corner of the market might also be interesting. It would present you with quite some challenging things. Yeah, there again, Grishhammer makes it known that he's thinking. So that draw must have come up with something very, very interesting there. Yeah. Yeah, you wonder if you were just you didn't shuffle there and you indeed go back just to find the inner somewhere. Um, you do give Easy Galina a bit more time now. Um, but yeah, those players have played their decks 100 times, 200, 300 times over. Okay, so the decision has been made. Vested Herald was discarded to archive the draw and the capture. It discards Moonlight Special because it doesn't want to give more ammo to Easy Galina. Easy Galina um, goes into this, pulls up his archive. He's got 11 cards, for which we know two of them are logos. But there must have been one important discard in there, such as probably the Levy of Souls or the Codex. Puts down the board again. Uh, Probably knows that there's no de-escalation because it wasn't played last turn. Um, and even if Grishhammer drew into it, it might be one of the only cards that he'd be playing. Big board for Easy Galina, 5 Ember. It needs to take action now against the board. Otherwise, it's going to be a similar situation as game number 2. Um, Not an instant call on Aquidon, so might not have the de-escalation. Um, Connectomes. Okay, does go into Aquidon. Probably considered all the options a bit more than I gave him credit for. Has another draw and a capture. Um, so maybe also hoping to draw something. Plays Reap the Wild Wind to gain 1 Ember because he has Manifestation in hand, and Eddie uh, has cornered the market and de-escalation. Oh, he's got both. It doesn't come back though. So here, as Easy Galina, what do? You just go into this and tax, or do you try to filter your hand because you know there's an opportunity to play cards again next turn? Um, that was crucial. If that de-escalation wasn't there, it probably would have been GG. Yeah. Okay. So he does go into this. Obviously uses the Levy of Soul to tax for 1. Did not discard any cards, so that gives Grishhammer the information that there is no discards in hand currently. Over to Grishhammer, plays Junk Restoration to search for, I would assume, his inner somewheres. Does not find it, but finds Manifestation, that beautifully enhanced Manifestation with 2 Ember in the capture. He plays it now, so I'm assuming there's no creature in his hand, or he doesn't want to play it. Plays another Junk Restoration with 2 Ember. Wow, 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 wow. Discards a Thought Catcher, not giving Easy Galina any chance to steal there. Plays in there somewhere. Archives going in the market, de-escalation. Now, yeah, all of the cards are in Grishhammer's hand now, I think. Easy Galina can maybe stop this one key, but then next turn it's corner the market, de-escalation. No tokens, no taxing. Um, yeah, what a turn of events. That one card made the difference. But maybe there's some magic trick that Easy Galina can still conjure up. Um, I don't think so. I think this is over. But you don't want to concede in this tournament. You want to play it all the way to the end. Consider all your options. Um, yeah. Glad that I put your win in the prediction. That sounds like like a conceit to me. Uh, yeah, a lot of people were wrong. 42 people were wrong and 11 were right. Uh, yeah, there are discards, there are token makers, but it's so Grishhammer was certain he was going to lose this matchup because of Katina Fiend and Levy. I thought the same thing actually. I never imagined it to turn out this way, but getting the right draws at the right moment, it's still Keyforge. Um, so goes into logos, plays cognitive assumptions. to reveal 3 logos cards from hands. Does make a bunch of tokens. Plays Eddie. Gets to 10. It's just not enough. Just not enough. But again, next turn, the board would have been wiped. The corner of the market would have come down. Practical method. So he does stall one more turn, actually. Because he is able to kill one of his... he's got the second Eddie. Wow. Right. So we've delayed one more game, one more turn. But Grishhammer knows what he needs to do. He will pick up his archive, play the escalation, corner the market, and that will be all she wrote. Yeah. That's just adding injury to insult, drawing an extra card. He concedes. GG. GG, what a match. What a match. I'm grabbing the logs so I don't forget. Saving the log file. So in the end, Grishhammer wins it 2-1. Yeah, didn't expect that one, to be honest. A lot of people didn't expect that to go Grishhammer's way either, based on the votes. But then again, so some people vote on the name, some people vote on the deck. Even Grishhammer himself didn't think that he would win it. So you could say it's the first upset in this tournament. Anyway, both players played really well. Looked at all the outs they have. But yeah, thanks for watching. This will be uploaded to the Final Refrain YouTube channel and on to the next games. See you. Bye.